Hello and welcome to This Week in Ames. I'm your host, Derek Chrysler. On today's show, we're going to talk about hydrant flushing. My guest today is Dale Weber. Dale, the Operations Supervisor for the City of Ames. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Dale, how long have you been with the city?
I've been with the city for 23 years.
And of those 23 years, how many have you been the Operations Supervisor?
I think 17.
So can you kind of tell us what the Operations Supervisor does? I mean, I know you do a lot more than just hydrant flushing.
I do a lot with water distribution, wastewater collection, and also utility locates for water, storm, and sanitary sewer. So I've got 9 guys that work with me. And they're the ones that do all the hard work, flushing the hydrants, doing the utility locates, being in the ditches, making water main break repairs, for instance, and doing that kind of thing on a daily basis. And kind of out in the streets, and same time trying not to get ran over and help get traffic directed around our job sites.
So water distribution is always interesting to me when I learned this, that you're part of the Public Works Department, but you also do a lot with the water treatment plant, which is a whole different department with the city. Can you kind of talk about that relationship?
For the most part, the water treatment plant deals with from treating the water to getting it to the pump stations, to the water towers in Ames. And then from that standpoint, the pipes under the ground, the fire hydrants, the water valves, out in the city, out in the distribution system is what we take care of and maintain. And a lot of reactionary work, probably 75% of what we do is reacting to the latest emergency, be it a pipe that breaks, a contractor that hits a line, and then the rest of the time we're trying to do preventive maintenance to make it easier for when we do have those problems, that things run smoother and people are disrupted for water service a lot shorter period of time.
So a water main break, what can cause that?
Everything from the ground shifting. Wintertime is kind of our busy time, December, January, February, with the cold temperatures. Sometimes extremes in temperature or differences in the moisture in the ground. So when it's been real wet and then goes to real dry, or vice versa, that also creates problems. And the ground is moving. And then the contractor assisted ones where a lot of utilities are being bored in anymore, and so equipment's very accurate, but you also have to know where things are at, and things aren't always consistent, I guess I'd say, for depths, or the elevation or the depth in the ground varies depending upon what they had to cross or go around.
So over the years, I mean, some of these water mains have been in the ground for a long time, and then newer construction. Has there been a consistency as far as the depth there? Or?
Try to be looking at 5.5 foot depth, but there is some variation because of grading that's taken place. So we do have some water mains that are only 3 feet deep in town, and we've got others that are the raised roads or raised areas where the water main was at. Now they're in that 15-foot depth range, which makes it real challenging to access to make any kind of repair.
And so here we are in spring, and it's the time of year where we always do hydrant flushing. Can you kind of tell me why we do hydrant flushing?
A big part of there's a couple things we do with the fire hydrant flushing. One is we're checking the operation of the fire hydrants. A lot of times it's possible that they can get damaged in the wintertime with the slick roads or even in the snow removal process. So we're checking the hydrants, make sure that they work, make sure they're available for the firefighters if there is an emergency. Same time, we also are flushing the mains and trying to take and remove the mineral deposits that are in some of these older mains. Some of the water mains are almost a little more than 100 years old now.
So what is happening when somebody comes to flush a hydrant? Like, what is the process?
We'll have 7 guys out that'll be flushing fire hydrants starting Wednesday, March 30th, and take about 10 days. And when they first pull up, they will take a hose out of the back of the truck. They'll hook on, they'll take the cap off of the fire hydrant, connect up to that. They'll turn the hydrant on. It's about 18 turns roughly, and they'll get the water flowing, and then they'll go and check. They've got a iPad in the truck that they're recording information on. Kind of verifies which hydrant it is that they're on, see if anything has changed. They'll keep track of how many minutes they flush it. They're also taking a pressure reading off of our baffle that's on the back of the truck, and that helps us with our estimate how many gallons per minute that the hydrant is running, and gives us an idea when we get all said and done how many gallons we went through for the flushing program.
So that iPad that you mentioned that they're checking, there's a neat interface for the public that they can see on that. What does that look like?
They can go to the city's website, and we have a web-based map that shows the city, shows the hydrants, and it kind of shows from the previous year kind of how far we made it each day. The hydrants start out as being red. Once we flush the hydrant, then it turns to green. And in a matter of 5 minutes or so after one of our guys has been there flushing the hydrant, it will change. So it's real, as real time as you can get. And so that's always a question, because we're not wanting people to use hot water or do laundry when we're flushing hydrants, because there's a better chance that they will have staining the laundry, getting discolored laundry. And so with that, they can kind of see how close we are and get a good idea when we're going to be in their neighborhood. And I think a big part, if they we'll have message boards out there as we're moving along, kind of giving people an idea when we're in the area, and that's worked real well as a reminder. We also are on the radio, Channel 12 also, which is a big help getting the word out to people. And I think the big thing is if they see us, when they go to use water, run the cold water faucet first. If it's discolored, then one of the best things to do is just wait. Otherwise, flush the cold water faucet first till it clears before they start doing laundry, and that seems to be all it takes.
Now, you made a point of saying the cold water faucet. Why not the hot water faucet?
If you run the hot water faucet, it's going to draw it into the hot water heater, and so then you're going to have that discolored water for a longer period of time. So that's why the cold water is where you want to start, and or if it is discolored, if you didn't realize that we were flushing in the neighborhood, then did some laundry or did some dishes, then you'll need to run the cold water faucet in order to clear it first before you can start improving that discolored water that's in your house and your plumbing.
And it's not a long process, right? Like if I notice low pressure in my house, I turn on the cold water faucets, it's not going to be for very long before I start to notice the pressure come back.
No, typically I'd say it's probably 15-20 minutes in an area. Typically we average about 5 or 6 minutes per fire hydrant, depending upon which area of town. We do have some that will take, in some of the older parts of town, will take around 30 minutes. So depending upon which area of town that you're in when we get there flushing hydrants, that's kind of the window, kind of that 5 to 30 minutes range.
Now what if I'm gone, like I'm on vacation or I'm at work when you guys come through my area? When I come home, will I notice any disruption in my service?
Usually you won't notice anything at all. When you come back, because you haven't been using water, that's kind of the big thing, is if you see us in the area, try not to use water while we're there until after we've moved on, and that's really the best thing that they can do.
Great. Well, I think we covered everything, Dale, but if there's any more questions that people have, is there somebody they can contact or a phone number they can call?
Yeah, they can give me a call. It's 515-239-5551, or they can email me at dweber@city.ames.iowa or .ia.us. I'm sorry.
No problem. Well, thank you, Dale, for coming on the show. We appreciate it.
Okay, thank you.
And as Dale mentioned, if you do have rust that you notice in your water, there is free rust remover that is available at the City Hall Information Desk, the water plant, and any of the 3 fire departments. You can stop by and pick that up. For more information, you can always check out our website at cityofames.org/hydrants, and follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Well, that's all for our show today. Thanks for watching, and tune in next week for This Week in Ames.